eHealth. Well, we're I wonder if it's going to be like that the whole way, where they're coming in one at a time. But eHealthInsurance, we're America's #1 health insurance marketplace. We've been in business since 1997 and have insured over 3 million individuals. And we really offer the ability for comparison and for choice for the consumer. So if you're looking for health insurance, you can compare all the plans in one central location and find the plan that best suits your needs. And we offer really great customer support. So who am I? I've been doing online marketing for quite a while. I got my BS in computer science back at Stanford. Have worked at a lot of large online advertising companies. So eHealth is the one I've been at right now. I'm VP of Search Marketing there. But I've worked at a bunch of others before that, Quinn Street, Nextag, to name a few. Really what I'm responsible for at eHealthInsurance is anything that involves paid media. So we're talking about things like paid search, display advertising, direct mail, and also some radio and television initiatives that we're investigating right now. Now, today I really wanted to talk about big data, big testing, big experience. And this is a infographic here that was really created by my friend Scott over at the ION platform. And this is really a philosophy that we have embraced quite a bit at eHealthInsurance. Being a smaller company of only 700 employees, the search marketing team and the marketing team in general play a very big role in the entire company, and the entire company's strategy in kind of the data aggregation, segmentation, and really the strategy for the company and for other departments. And we've really had a good opportunity at eHealthInsurance to take the big data from our department, generate some really great hypotheses to run big tests, and deliver big experiences for the consumer. But it hasn't always been that way. Really, when I first started at eHealth, it was more about older world marketing. So the company was siloed. We had different divisions. They didn't communicate very closely. The marketing team, in fact, was kind of running smaller tests and was viewed as data-driven, but also kind of as more of a soft skill. Now, with some of the new paradigm that has happened as we've built out the marketing team and the search marketing team in particular, is we've been looking more at a cross-functional integration. So we have been leveraging really this big data approach to take the data, take the insights from the marketing team, and evangelize them across the organization. And it has worked out quite successfully. We'll get into some of the results later with a specific case. Now, part of Scott's framework as well has been really going with big ideas and working as a bigger team. So again, whereas in the past we were siloed, we were working on our search-specific tests, we were kind of working just in the marketing department, now we're partnering with other departments. So we're working with our product management department. A lot of the tests that we're running in marketing are directly now influencing some of the bigger updates that happen on our website. We're working with our customer care center. A lot of the tests and learnings that we're finding are now being leveraged by our call centers. We have several hundred agents in Sacramento, in Salt Lake City, and we're having these folks now take some of the best learnings from our marketing campaigns and use them every day on the phone when they're on the phone with our customers. And just have a hypothetical example down here. It's actually a practical example from what we've been doing. We really recently, as just one of these notions of big ideas and big team, we leveraged all of our ad copy learnings since 2004, really. We've been on AdWords since 2004. We've been one of the huge spenders. We wanted just to see, over time, what happens if we aggregate everything. We had some very unique insights. We had some learnings. We found which value propositions, which messages convert the best, all the way from an impression on a search engine to a conversion, to someone actually buying a health insurance policy on our site. And we used these learnings really to develop new landing pages, to test some big new landing pages. We found the ones that worked, that improved our conversion rates, improved our profitability, and then we started evangelizing them with the product management team. It's pretty exciting that they actually were able to take these results and redesign our homepage, redesign our website, and leverage some of the impact from the big tests and big ideas that we were running in marketing. Again, just a great way from kind of a management standpoint, really to leverage what's happening in marketing across the broader organization. And I'm starting to see this work out really well at our company, and I imagine even at larger companies this is something that's going to be more of a trend, and I really feel that it's a great opportunity for those in marketing leadership to influence the greater company. Now, you guys know all of this stuff. We control just a multitude of big data. There's a lot of information on this slide, so I'm going to probably skip through a lot of it. But really what I wanted to point out is some of the stuff that may not be as relevant kind of on a day-to-day, or may not be as obvious on a day-to-day to the average search engine marketer. And really what that ties into actually is some of this stuff at the end, just the offline. Some of the stuff, obviously we have all this online big data that we've been leveraging to generate our testing hypotheses, but we've also been leveraging a ton of offline data. This is really circled around even call center metrics. We have a call center, they've been in operation since 1997, and we have aggregated just a massive amount of information from phone calls with our customers, from customer support calls, etc. Even just from the standpoint of sitting in on calls, we've been able to use that data to generate some really great ideas for marketing campaigns and for product ideas on our website. I would say one of the other offline initiatives is we've been doing a lot of direct mail, and we've been finding some very interesting results. We've been treating direct mail very similarly to how we treat search engine marketing, so getting very targeted, getting very data-driven, working with very large data vendors, and a lot of that data is now starting to influence actually the way that we're doing things online as well. So we wanted to just jump into a specific example today, and really that is the landing page testing that we've been doing with the ION platform. So Scott's company, ION Interactive, great platform. We've been partnering with these guys for several years now. We were really an early adopter of the platform. And we've been leveraging really the data that we have internally to drive big tests on ION. And we're frequently testing new landing pages. Back in like 2010, 2011, before we were on the ION platform, it was very difficult to test new ideas at eHealth. It wasn't really the fault of anyone, but just that the engineering team had bigger priorities, different areas of focus than paid search landing pages, paid search user experiences. So basically in 2011, we tested maybe one new template. Across the last few years, we're now working with ION. We're testing several new experiences every single month. So it's really about generating big ideas, being willing to fail quickly, not worry about one landing page not working, just getting those big tests out there and iterating in a very controlled and safe manner. We've been multivariate testing, so this goes back to some of the stuff that was being discussed on the first day, really, about what's the difference between a test and an optimization. As we're testing, we're really looking for big ideas. We don't want to move the needle just a little bit. We want a function step in growth. But how do we also find those smaller insights? Well, with the multivariate testing that's available on ION, we've been also testing some optimizations, different images, different headlines, different messages within these big tests. We've been building unique landing pages for our different segments. We'll get more into that later, but we've been getting very granular. We have hundreds of different landing pages running right now, and it did not start out that way. It was really a kind of an exercise in optimization and getting more and more granular over time. We've been closely collaborating with ION on the design side, it's really actually saved us a ton of time and a lot of good stuff. So let's jump into some of these first-hand examples here that we've been testing. So you can see all the way on the left-hand side, that is the original landing page that we were testing back in 2011. So that's kind of what we were starting with. This is one of these things that basically that is the landing page that we got when we worked with our engineering and internal design team back in 2010-11. We realized at that point actually that that landing page did so much better than the predecessor that we need to be testing more regularly, more frequently. So that's one of the real reasons we went with this platform to start testing these new pages. And you can see here in the middle and on the right, these are some of the newer innovations that we are testing. Kind of that middle page, it's really a carrier-specific page. It has a lot of the logos for their different blues companies, so like Blue Cross, Blue Shield, all of the different brands across the country, and all of the carriers that we provide on our site. And really what that was generated by is this notion that we were looking at our search query volume, and we were getting a ton of traffic on words like Blue Cross, Blue Shield, but we didn't have a relevant landing page experience. We were sending those customers to something more generic, like a state-driven page or kind of a keyword-driven page, but it wasn't really branded towards those specific carrier terms that the consumer was typing in. So we found some good results at that page, and it's one of our latest tests. Another one are these state-specific pages. We didn't really used to have any state-specific pages, but we found that based on our account structure and also on the user query trends, we're getting a ton of volume on these state and geo-modified keywords. So we started thinking, well, why not test state pages, and why not make them, this is kind of a later innovation, but make them very regionally specific, very targeted. So like in California, Northern California, we have that Golden Gate Bridge. We have California highlighted on the map. We even have the price. And in the health insurance industry, the prices are very different by state. Even by regions within the state, you might start seeing different prices. So we incorporated all of that hyper-local information into our landing pages, and we found that that very targeted customer experience has been working quite well. Next slide, we've got some more of these state pages, but this is just an example of how targeted, how specific we're getting with some of these bigger ideas. It's a big idea, but if you leverage a platform like we've been doing with bid automation for years, there's really power in the platform, and you can take a big idea and still have those granular experiences within the template. So we've got, for example, Illinois in the winter time's kind of cold, snowy, we've got that. But Arizona, we've got kind of a warmer image for kind of spring, summertime. So really trying to speak specifically to the regional users with those pages. Now, some of the other ideas that we came up with that we've been testing are dental insurance. So one of our ideas was, and we've tested this in the past, we actually made a very big initiative probably about 3 years ago when I was first starting at eHealth to give dental insurance a try. We were sending paid search traffic specifically to our dental insurance storefront, and it wasn't converting really great. It wasn't, for organic traffic, it was working fine for type-ins, but for paid traffic, it wasn't quite there. So one of our big hypotheses was, well, can we work with our landing page platform, take a lot of those learnings from the individual and health insurance side, and apply them to this new business line? And by basically creating this page, we were able to make the dental insurance business work. We were seeing higher conversion rates. We were applying learnings from one business segment to the other, and it's helped us quite a bit enter a brand new category from a paid search and online marketing standpoint. Another example was just lead gen model. We were thinking, well, hey, we've always kind of shied away from lead generation. We've always been an online platform, really the Expedia of health insurance, allowing people to compare the plans and just buy online. But we were thinking, not everyone is ready to compare plans. Not everyone wants to just go ahead and buy online. So we thought, well, why don't we partner with the Dummies series? So we licensed the rights to create our own Dummies guide for health insurance. And then we built a landing page experience around it, and we were driving paid traffic, social media traffic, PR traffic specifically to this page so that people could download this Dummies book by entering some lead information and then later following up with the leads. So just another idea that is possible when we're doing a lot of big tests, a lot of new and unique tests, is testing even completely different business models than you're accustomed to. Last one is just another state-specific page. I wanted to kind of point this out because sometimes we've been testing things that we didn't even think would work. Compared to the rest of our site and some of the other pages that you've seen previously, this probably isn't, in my opinion, the most attractive page. It's not the most targeted page. I mean, it's targeted in the sense that it's a state name and the price, but it doesn't have that state image. It doesn't have kind of the state-specific scenery. But what was interesting is we found that this page worked very well. So one of the things that we've been challenging ourselves to do as well is just test pages, landing pages that we don't even think they'll work, because we don't know until we test something. And it's really about kind of limiting the exposure and making sure that we're testing in a way where we're really being controlled. So another one that was really great that we've been testing more recently is this notion of even going deeper in the funnel. So we've had so much good experience testing new landing pages, improving our conversion rate that way. But we started, you're going to see the biggest gains up front, and they're going to get slower over time. So some of our gains started getting a little bit more incremental, and we were thinking, well, how can we get to the next big level? And really what we were thinking, as well as a website, we offer an API for our partners so that they can directly send someone past all the first few pages into our quote results. And what we were thinking is, well, why don't we be an internal consumer of that API? So we actually built a deeper integration where we not only have kind of that landing page that captures the zip code, but we created a second page where it captures the information that, for the primary applicant, and then also a third page if necessary for their spouse and children to enter their information. This is all information that's required to get a quote. And we found that by making those pages very consistent, by experimenting not only with your landing page, but with deeper pages in the funnel, the entire microsite, the entire customer experience, it has also yielded very good results. So we've seen a conversion rate improvement from that test as well. Now, in terms of the results, how are we measuring the results? What are we looking at when we're running these tests? Well, for one thing, we're measuring every click on every page. You'll see this on the next slide, but what's really interesting about a platform like this is if you're measuring every click on every page, you will be capturing even more data that you didn't have before, and it will be influencing your future tests. So we have actually, I mean, just as a good example, you'll see this on the next page, but we found that the consumers were actually clicking things on the page that were not even a button. So we had these carrier logos on one of our page, kind of across the bottom, and they were just there for kind of the visual appeal, to build some credibility, to show the consumer the different types of carriers that we offer and that you could compare. But we didn't realize until we started looking at the data that people were actually clicking these things that aren't even clickable. So kind of looking at that data and then using those insights to build a new experience where those images are clickable, and we're actually sending them to relevant pages that are kind of a subset of this landing page microsite. We're quite excited about that. We're managing to statistical significance, so that's all automated in the platform. Each time there's a new winner, we're finding very, very interestingly that it's not global. It's the same thing we're experiencing with ad copy. It's very segment driven. So our landing page winners, they're very specific, they're very different by segment of customers, by ad group even. So we're finding that per segment, the winner becomes the new control, but our controls across the account are widely different at this point. They're getting very granular, etc. We are closely monitoring our goals. We actually have conversion rate goals as part of our marketing team's strategy for the year, and we're closely measuring against those, and it's become very easy with a platform like this. So here's just an example of how we're measuring the results. I've removed some of the data here, but what it clearly shows is the platform will show where people are clicking on the page. So that's just another way we're measuring the results. And we're seeing where there's some leakage. We're using that to optimize the page. If they're clicking something that doesn't have good content or isn't a great part of the experience, we're improving upon that. So a lot of good insights there. And I guess the last thing is just how else are we leveraging big testing? So we're doing that with the ION platform, but also we're using automated bid management. So we've partnered with one of the big bid management companies, or big SEM platforms, been on there for a few years. It's worked very well. And really what we're doing now is we're starting to integrate very rich data into bidding. So before we were kind of using just tracking pixels on Google and on Microsoft Ad Center or Bing Ads, but now we're starting to integrate very deep deep data from our company. So we're looking at things such as cross-sell, things such as lifetime revenue. We're starting to look at that kind of information even on a keyword level to see how we can get more accurate projections of keyword level value into our automated bidding platform. We're using the same framework with our ad copy testing. Really what we're doing is we're also just collaborating with data providers, as mentioned earlier, and a lot of enhancements just in tracking and attribution. We've seen that with this new paradigm, one of the challenges we've faced historically has been a lack of tracking, a lack of really deep data integration on our site, and that kind of ties into the first point, that with this better tracking, we're passing much better data back into our platforms, like our bid management platform and into our landing page platform. So that's it. I appreciate the opportunity. If you guys have any questions or wanted to reach out, discuss our experience, always happy to chat. We've got my email, I've got my blog up here, and there's some additional information if you guys wanted to reach out to Ion as well. Appreciate the opportunity.
Do we have, there we go. Thanks, Rob.
Nice job, Ian.
Thanks.
Here's my question. Oftentimes I find that companies are hesitant to do landing page testing at all, and it's maybe through lack of understanding, or they just think there are other resources or priorities that are more important. So how did you get to the point to getting your design team, your product management team, your development team, all those people behind you on this? Because I guess I feel like the first step is just doing any landing page testing, not necessarily getting to where you've been.
Absolutely.
Just getting to that first place.
Yeah, that's a great question, David. So yeah, I think what it really came down to was a bandwidth issue, and I think at a large company, oftentimes people, they own something, they don't want to pass it on. So there are those challenges, like, hey, we've built out an internal bid management platform. Do we want to get rid of that work and go with you know, an outside platform? Or hey, we do have a capacity internally to build and test landing pages. Do we want to kind of get rid of that responsibility and move towards something different? And that was probably one of the main challenges. I think really the way we proved it was just by looking at the facts and really kind of pushing on the PM team. They just didn't have the capacity. So whereas we needed to be testing pages, we were in an environment where CPCs were increasing. It's a hyper-competitive market. We were the first mover to the market, but a lot of big brands are throwing big dollars into the market. We were thinking, well, how can we combat, you know, this competitive environment? What can we do? And really what we found is we need to be running a lot of big tests, and we need to be doing it every month. And we found that when we were looking internally, you know, can we do that? It just was not possible. Engineering team and the PM team had too many other responsibilities on other fronts. So we were kind of able just to use the data, really, again, the data, to prove to those guys that, hey, would you be comfortable with us moving out house? And really, we position it to them. What I've always found at these companies, or any company really, is kind of position it as a test. Basically what we did in the early days is we said, hey, we want to test this out. If you guys aren't happy with how it's going, or you want to bring it back in-house, that's fine with us. But what's funny most of the time is when you kind of position something as a test, usually it will, you won't have to take that step of bringing it back in-house. So that was just one other way we tested. I think another thing that was a benefit on our side is our company has gone through a pretty big transformation. So we have a new president and COO. We have some new management team. So we were kind of in an environment where there was a really rapid evolution of the team, really breaking down silos, really bringing the team together. So it was a very unique and good opportunity just to bring something like this in-house and just go for it. And it's been a really great success.
Ian, thanks for a great presentation.
Oh, appreciate it.
Frost, Preload at Simplify. You mentioned attribution a little bit. Could you describe what you guys are doing in that area? Are you doing cross attribution between, I don't know if you're doing display or search or other acquisition?
Absolutely. So we're starting to look into that now. We're not doing a ton with attribution just yet, to be honest. We have a lot more to do in that front, but it is one of our goals for this year to improve our attribution model. We're starting to implement our search engine pixels and our tracking in a way that will allow us to take advantage of that data. We're not doing a whole amount with it just yet, but we will be passing that data into our bid management platform and using that to better assign value on a keyword level. Right now we're mainly last click focused. What I will say we're doing that's was the first step that's kind of preceding attribution was really cross-sell. So on our website, primarily what my team is responsible for is driving health insurance, people to apply for health insurance. But we've always seen that as a byproduct of buying health insurance, people are buying a lot of other stuff. We offer a shopping cart on our site, and people are adding a lot of different products to their shopping cart. But we never really factored in the revenue and the conversions on a keyword level from that cross-sell. It was always kind of an aggregate view. And really one of the first steps that we started taking, and the attribution is kind of the next step in terms of improving our tracking and our data, is we started taking that cross-sell data and incorporating it in. And what we have seen is that even on a more granular level, and what we expect to see more of this, is that you will have certain keywords or certain segments or certain marketing programs that drive more cross-sell than others. So that's just one example, but there's definitely more to be done when it comes to attribution.
Ian, John Papp from Athena Health. Great presentation, thank you. So a question for you. So at some point you decided that you wanted to create more landing pages and have fewer keywords going to each individual landing page. How much of this was a quality score strategy, and what kind of implications did that have on your overall account quality score? Yeah,
fantastic question. So one of the advantages we've had for a while is, we've been in business, since 1997. We were one of the early adopters of Google AdWords. So from a quality score standpoint, that wasn't the main reason that we went with our landing page solution. It was more from a kind of conversion and testing standpoint. But absolutely, quality score was one of the bullet points on the reasons to go with that. And it has been our firm belief that by testing these pages, by getting more granular, by incorporating more localized information, that we would achieve better quality scores. One of the things we have been doing with our landing pages is even simple things like the meta keywords, meta description. For kind of an organic search standpoint, like meta keywords don't really matter anymore. Meta description does, but from a search engine marketing standpoint, from PPC, a lot of people forget to kind of optimize the keywords, the description, the title, the alt tags, all of that. It was something that really, as a marketing team, we didn't have a lot of control over that before. It was all through our Jira system. We would have to file a Jira. We'd have to wait for that content to get released. It would take time. So definitely with a program like this, we've been able to optimize more granularly. We've been able to update our messages. We've been able to update those tags, et cetera, to run experiments when it comes to quality scores. So it's definitely been a positive and one of the other benefits of the program.
Hi, Jennifer Lyslat, IMM. I was just wondering, above and beyond on-site analytics, do you leverage any other kind of data? And if not, why?
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to our site analytics, I would say the main data that we probably rely on are our survey data. So we work with basically running our own surveys on site, working with external vendors. We do work with data partners as well. So some of these big guys, these names like Axiom or Data Logic, people in that category, and we're working with them on data. And I would say, again, kind of coming back to the call center, so we work with a lot of the offline data that just we have gathered through the phone calls over the years. I would say the other data that we've worked with in the past, as well as just kind of internal data, it kind of goes back to the original point about breaking down the silos. There's been a lot more cross-functional collaboration over the last few years, and part of that has just been, taking the trip, driving up to Sacramento once a month and sitting in on the calls, meeting with the people who are on the floor, talking to our customers, and kind of just getting their perspective, learning from our employees. So I'd say that's kind of one of those more qualitative pieces, and it's not as measurable, but we have used that data to generate a lot of tests.
Is that it? Well, great.
Great.
One